This is not a stock recommendation. This video is only for educational purpose. दोस्तों साधन पे हम लोगों ने अभी तक बहुत सारे बिजनेसेस डिस्कस किए, बट कहीं ना कहीं कंज्यूमर फोकस बिजनेस के बारे में हमने कम बात की। तो आज हम एक ऐसा बिजनेस डिस्कस करने वाले हैं जो कंज्यूमर फोकस्ड है, और जीएसटी 2.0 के अनाउंसमेंट के बाद ये सेक्टर थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग तो है, बिकॉज बहुत सारे इन्वेस्टर अभी सोच रहे हैं कि इस सेक्टर में फिर से स्टडी करें एंड फाइंड आउट करें कि कौन से बिजनेसेस सेक्युलर ग्रोथ पाथ पे हैं। अगर आप 2018 से लेके 2022 के साइकिल में इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे थे तो आपने इस कंपनी के बारे में सुना होगा, बिकॉज ये स्टॉक उस समय काफी चर्चा में था। एंड दिस स्टॉक हैज नॉट बीन अ विनर इन द साइकिल ऑफ 2022 टू 2025, बट 2025 ऑनवर्ड्स इस बिजनेस में एक मूवमेंट है। आई थिंक द कंपनी इज डिस्कवरिंग इटसेल्फ अगेन। सो दोस्तों मैं बात कर रहा हूँ मोल्टेक पैकेजिंग की। दिस इज वन ऑफ द फर्स्ट वीडियोज इनटू द वैल्यू चेन ऑफ पैकेजिंग। सो लेट्स गेट डीप इनटू मोल्टेक पैकेजिंग। इस कंपनी के बारे में सीखेंगे कि ये कंपनी क्यों इंटरेस्टिंग है, इस कंपनी के बिजनेस वर्टिकल्स क्या हैं, कंपनी क्या अलग कर रही है, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर हैविंग अ लुक एट इट। इसमें जो यूनिक पोजिशनिंग है जिसके कारण इस बिजनेस में एक वैल्यू है, उस वैल्यू को डिस्कवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे इस बिजनेस एनालिसिस में। तो अराउंड 15 to 20 मिनट्स का ये वीडियो होगा। पेशेंटली इसे आप देखेंगे, देन यू विल बी एबल टू अप्रिशिएट कि इस कंपनी में क्या हुआ था और अभी ये कंपनी किस तरफ रुख कर रही है। सो एक इंपॉर्टेंट मेंटल मॉडल जो मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूं वो ये है कि आप एक लॉन्ग टर्म व्यू डेवलप करें फॉर एनी बिजनेसेस, बिकॉज बिजनेस जो है अपने एक साइकिल में होती है। हर बिजनेस का एक लाइफ साइकिल होता है। कभी वो प्रूफ ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट स्टेज में होती है, कभी वो रेप्लिकेशन स्टेज में होती है, कभी वो मैच्योरिटी स्टेज में होती है। तो ये एक ऐसी कंपनी है जो एक मैच्योरिटी स्टेज में आ चुकी थी और उसके बाद फिर बॉट देम इनटू द अर्ली स्टेज अगेन, विच इज द प्रूफ ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट। सो प्रूफ ऑफ कॉन्सेप्ट से हम अब रेप्लिकेशन फेज की तरफ जा सकते हैं। तो एक ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज यहाँ पे प्ले आउट हो सकता है। सो वी विल बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग nuances of these things in this video. Just to introduce this company, this has been a pioneer of paint packaging industry. Set up हुआ था 1986 में. It is one of the leading players in rigid plastic packaging. So plastic packaging दो तरीके की होती है, एक rigid plastic packaging होती है, एक flexible packaging होती है। तो rigid वाले में ऐसी चीजें आती हैं जो कि थोड़े से हार्ड होते हैं, जो malleable नहीं होते हैं। जैसे SDP वाला जो डोमेन है वो फ्लेक्सिबल प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग में आता है, जो हाई डेंसिटी पॉलीथिलीन या पॉलीथीन जो होता है, सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक एंड ऑल, दोज आर फ्लेक्सिबल प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग सेक्टर, बट दिस इज रिजिड प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग। इस कंपनी के पास 10 मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स है। अब एक सवाल ये आता है कि ये छोटी सी कंपनी है, 2,500 करोड़ मार्केट कैप की, इसके पास 10 मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट होने का क्या पॉइंट है? तो ये कंपनी अपने एंकर के साथ इन्वेस्ट करती है प्लांट्स, जहां जहां इनके एंकर विच इज मोस्ट लाइक विच आर कंपनीज लाइक एशियन पेंट्स, कैस्ट्रोल, शेल, जहां उनका प्लांट होता है वहां इन्हें एक सीमलेसली इंटीग्रेट होना पड़ता है एज ए पैकेजर, बिकॉज उनका प्रोडक्ट ही फिनिश नहीं होगा अगर वो पैकेजिंग के साथ उसको डिलीवर ना करे। तो एशियन पेंट्स के लिए अपने प्रोडक्ट को फिनिश गुड में क्वालिफाई करने के लिए उन्हें पैकेजिंग चाहिए। दैट्स व्हाई दे नीड टू हैव अ पैकेजिंग सेटअप एट देयर डोर स्टेप, एंड दैट्स व्हाई हिस्टोरिकली एशियन पेंट्स ने इसे लैंड अवेलेबल कराया था अपने प्लांट के पास, अपने कैंपस में भी समटाइम। सो दैट्स व्हाई दिस कंपनी हैज बीन लकी टू हैव अ गुड पार्टनर लाइक एशियन पेंट्स हिस्टोरिकली। ऑल्सो FMCG में भी इनके अच्छे क्लाइंट्स हैं, जैसे हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, मॉन्डेलेज जिनके चॉकलेट्स आते हैं, और कुछ इंडस्ट्रियल साइड में भी हैं, जैसे ऑयल एंड गैस में कैस्ट्रोल एंड शेल आर देयर क्लाइंट्स, एंड these all are very big names. And the unique thing about this company is that they introduced the injected mold plastic containers in mid 1990s when most of the paint packaging was done in tin containers. तो पुराने जमाने में 10-15 साल पहले जो है वो टिन के कंटेनर होते थे, बट इन्होंने रिजिड प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग बनाई और उसमें इन मोल्डिंग जो इंट्रोडक्शन 2011 में हुआ है। व्हाट इज इन मोल्डिंग? इन मोल्डिंग इज बेसिकली अ प्रोसेस वेयर अ pre-printed label is inserted inside the mold before injecting molten plastic. तो प्लास्टिक जो है उसके ऊपर आपको लेबलिंग करनी है, बट प्लास्टिक के ऊपर पेपर चिपकाने से वो अच्छी क्वालिटी आती नहीं है। तो उस प्लास्टिक के ऊपर एक लास्ट लेयर ऑफ प्लास्टिक में ही हम पेंट मिक्स कर देते हैं, हम एक ऐसा पिगमेंट डालते हैं जो आपके मैसेज को वहां पे लिखता है, जिसे लेबल कर सकते हैं। तो दिस लेबल फ्यूजेस विद द कंटेनर ड्यूरिंग मोल्डिंग process itself. That's why it's called in mold labeling, and it becomes an integral part of product. तो इसमें आप फेक नहीं कर सकते हैं, और ये कॉस्टली होती हैं। तो छोटी कंपनियां जो फेक बनाती हैं वो काउंटरफीट का प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं होता है. दैट्स व्हाई दिस इज अ इम्पॉर्टेंट पीस ऑफ द puzzle of paint industries and likes of others also. So इसका फायदा क्या होता है कि label is not a sticker applied afterwards, so it becomes part of the packaging itself. It ensures durability, a premium look most importantly, and scratch resistance हो जाता है, and tamper proof branding हो जाती है. So these are the benefits of in mold labeling, and you can see that without in mold labeling Asian Paints का आपको जो दिख रहा है स्टिकर वाला वो ordinary दिख रहा है, but the other one with in mold labeling looks quite good. कंपनी 3 वर्टिकल्स में ऑपरेट करती हैं. पहला वर्टिकल जो है पेंट एंड लुब्रिकेशंस का है, which is a legacy business, and they garner around 60 पैसा out of 1 rupees from this business. But this business was under doldrums. Asian Paints में आपने देखा कि उनका स्टॉक भी अच्छा नहीं कर रहा था during 2025 because there has been rise in competition, which we'll talk about it. So this is the legacy business, but recovery is expected into this business. Second is FMCG or QPACK, which is the fastest growing vertical for the company. It contributed around 30% of the revenue in FY25. Third and most important piece of the puzzle is Pharma, which is emerging vertical with exceptionally high EBITDA margin. So इस business में एक margin play हो रहा है. Currently is going to be around 1.2% of revenue. So अभी बहुत ही छोटा business है ये, but this is going to add lot more value to the bottom line of this company. अगर हम capacity की बात करें तो current capacity is around 55,000 million ton per annum है, which can be expanded to 59,000 MTPA. Right now this company has done 38,264 MTPA in FY25 versus 35,661 in FY24. So volume growth अभी कंपनी में नहीं है because का जो मेन कस्टमर है जो पेंट इंडस्ट्री that has been in the doldrums. But there are some updates which you will know in later slides जहाँ पे हम इसे कवर कर रहे हैं कि इसमें कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग हुआ है. नोटिस करने वाली चीज ये है कि FY25 में इस बिजनेस का जो पेंट का ग्रोथ था वो 6.79% था, which was not led by Asian Paints for the first time, but led by Aditya Birla Group, because पेंट इंडस्ट्री में आपको पता है कि बिरला ने ओपस पेंट लॉन्च किया है. तो अब आप एक नया प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करते हैं मार्केट में, आप नंबर 3 नंबर 4 से आप मार्केट शेयर स्नैच करना चाहते हैं, देन यू हैव टू गिव देम अ प्रीमियम लुक. योर प्रोडक्ट शुड लुक बेटर, एंड दैट्स व्हाई द रोल ऑफ इन मोल्ड लेबलिंग becomes very important for Aditya Birla and the Opus paints. So this has led to a recovery into the paint business in Q1 and actually in Q4. उसके पहले the company was on a slippery slope with respect to paint business. In FY25 lubricant जो कि एक दूसरा portion है paint industry का ही, that has seen a degrowth, but overall paint business saw a modest growth of 6.8% in FY25. And that was after the degrowth in FY24. So the volume did not grow because the growth in the paint industry was very tepid, and the company lost volumes of its largest customer, Asian Paints, which accounted more than 30% of the business. This was on account of the company's curtailing its IML packaging and contracts being ordered to related party like Hi-Tech Corporation. So Hi-Tech Corporation एक company है जो कि related है to Asian Paints management. So वहाँ पे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट शिफ्ट हो रहा था, एंड हाईटेक कॉर्पोरेशन इज नॉट दैट मच ऑफ अ IML पैकेजर, बट since there was pressure on Asian Paints, so they moved some business to Hi-Tech Corporation in order to save cost. But जो rival company है जो कि deep pocketed है Asian, which is your Aditya Birla Paints, they have been expanding more into in mold labeling. So Moldtek Packaging has started to work closely with Aditya Birla Opus, and they have started to supply to their Cheyyar, Mahad and Panipat plants, which are 3 plants Opus hai right now. The capacity dedicated for Birla Opus is approximately 5,000 MTPA, which is roughly 10%. Utilization are expected to go up in FY26 as and when Opus scales up. So they are proxy on Opus growth also. Birla Opus uses 15 to 20% of in mold labeling in the packaging. So Asian Paint जो है वो सिर्फ 10 से 15% ऑफ देयर ओवरऑल पैकेजिंग में IML यूज करते हैं. वहीं Birla Opus being a challenger brand, they have spent double of their mix into IML because Birla Opus wants to have a higher market share, which is an incremental opportunity for moldtek packaging. So that had led to the sign of recovery in this business vertical. And we can notice that they have added plans to facilitate Asian Paint की capacity in Satara, Vizag and Mysore. So पहले Asian Paints ने अपने सारे plants में इन्हें नहीं रखा था because they thought that they can do without in mold labeling packaging. But Asian Paints lately has said that we want in mold labeling packages also at Satara, Vizag and Mysore जहाँ पे नहीं था. So Asian Paints are focusing more on IML compared to non-IML, which is expected to bring positive growth for Asian Paints in FY26. And sales in paint business grew over 20% YOY in Q1 FY26 versus Q1 FY25. So that is the growth in Asian Paints, and that is their main client. So the signs of recovery are there. Somebody asked them in this quarter con call why there was a fall in Asian Paints business, but the company has replied that this year this business is stable, and that is a good indicator of staying fit with the Asian Paints through IML. And now IML facilities have been created in all Asian Paints plants. Earlier, they used to supply to Hyderabad or part of Daman, but with these three facilities, IML is a go-to thing for Asian Paints. So this is bringing a lot of hope to management. Let's talk about the FMCG and QPACK vertical, the second one, which have contribute 30% of it. So there has been a growth in food segment of 11%, and with the addition of new printing capacity, which is improving quarterly numbers. Q4 में they have launched a lot of products which are basically containers होते हैं प्लास्टिक के. पहले जो है आइसक्रीम के क्यूब होते थे, कार्टून वाले पैकेज में होते थे, बट आइसक्रीम मेकर्स हैव मूव टू रिजिड प्लास्टिक पैकेजिंग, which are led by Amul, and this is aggressively growing business for in moldtek packaging, and it caters to Amul and meal of the moment campaign. Horlicks has also have been added as a client in FY25, making a foray into the beverage category. They are gaining huge traction in the ready-to-eat segment, which is a fast-growing vertical, and they have added Marico in Q1 of FY26. So good names are being added by this company, which is giving a kind of a good business outlook for this vertical. QPACK mein they have started doing patented square packs, which has seen a 17% growth, and the end user is detergents like Surf Excel and sometimes Kellogg's. उनके भी जो मुस्लीज और उनके जो बॉक्स हैं वो काफ़ी हद तक प्लास्टिक वाले आ रहे हैं. कंपनी हैव एडेड capacity into Daman and Panipat plants. 10 लीटर का QPACK molds भी उन्होंने establish कर दिया है into 3 plants. So they are marketing their new additions to the square packs segment, which are 2 to 3 liter square packs for retailer and confectionery segments. So food is the focus for this company. In the QPACK category, the company is foraying into non-food category as well and added Surf Excel in the segment. They added 2 to 3 liter of small packs size, which is helping them driving growth in this sector. Growth in FMCG, you can see that there are all kinds of packaging being made by this company, and they have added new facility which will come live in Q3 FY26. Continuously, they are adding new products in the segment, and which is going to be the driver for the growth. Moldtek का जो है वो Pharma is the third vertical where the buck is moving very fast. And this company has been delivering towards this growth of this new business, which is flagellates, and they have developed this product in their in-house tool room with 5-axis and 3-axis CNC machines, and they have developed over 500 molds and also hold 2 patents in mold construction design. So this company is not just run-of-the-mill company कि सिर्फ पैकेजिंग ही आती है. This company की एक associated company भी है Multibagger technology, which is good into equipment side. So CNC machines से उन्हें mold बनाना and all those things are kind of available in-house for them. So that's why they could foray into pharma, which is high margin business. What helps them is the big brands like Hindustan Unilever, Asian Paints, which are huge giants which carry weight. तो उनका नाम अगर आपके clientele में है तो many pharma company give you a serious look, and that's why they have been spending a lot of time developing capability in this segment. They spent around 90 to 100 crores over development of this segment in last 2 years. So this has led to operational deleverage so far because 100 crore का cost आया but sales नहीं आई, and a lot of time has spent on this. And their portfolio अगर हम देखें तो आप देख सकते हैं 2-3 टाइप के नए प्रोडक्ट आ रहे हैं. One is tablet container with CTCR closures, and second one is effervescent tubes which are being developed by this company. There are desiccant canister. तो ये 2-3 टाइप की चीज़ें जो कि फार्मा में इंपॉर्टेंट है वो बना रहे हैं। 21 टाइप के कंटेनर्स बनानी है यूजिंग इंजेक्शन ब्लो मोल्डिंग विच इज अनदर टेक्निक। Canister may they have received a direct export order, and also they are developing domestic capabilities. EV tubes may they got a first order with IML technology, so they are mixing and matching with different technologies for development of this product, including nasal sprays. So बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे प्रोडक्ट हैं जहाँ पे इन्हें रिसर्च करने का मौका मिल रहा है और दे आर एडिंग अप लेबल्स इनटू दिस. सो दीज रिलेशनशिप्स आर स्टार्टिंग अप and someday they can enter medical devices also once the pharma relationship scales up. Then abhi to wo drug mein hai but medical devices mein bhi they can foray, and they are getting some customer approvals and there is a traction. So let's have a look. Company has added names like Markson, Pulse, MSN Lab as their customer. They have added 20 pharma and nutraceutical companies and have cleared audit process as on Q4 FY25. So एक फार्मा में एक अप्रूवल प्रोसेस लंबा होता है, इसलिए काफ़ी पेशेंटली इस बिजनेस को वॉच करना होता है. एंड सो फार दे हैव एडेड नेम्स which proves that their process are good. Out of these, only 4 to 5 have started commercial buying. The rest are in line to scale the volumes over FY26. Every one of them has cleared the audit, which is a validation of the Moltek's DMF compliant facilities and pharma grade standard. So company have done a sales of around 6.6 crore in Q4 FY25, whereas in Q1 FY26 it has gone up to 7.47, and the sale in FY25 Q3 was just 2.27. So in just 6 months they have grown around 3x, which is exponential growth in a new sector. So that is a proof of concept stage I was talking about, and they have given a guidance of around 30 crore contribution towards the top line from this segment, which would be not huge at the top line level, but which would be a margin accretive. For our channel members, we are decoding an EMS business in next 2-3 days. So if you want to have a deep look into the electronics manufacturing segment, which is a growing field because the ban on Chinese supply on electronics good is here to stay. So that's why this makes the EMS industry a very interesting piece to study, and we'll be studying this with our members. So if you want a closer interaction with me, don't forget to hit the join button. That's where we will be discussing this business. After business, let's look at the financial highlight. The financials numbers are there on the screen. You can go through it. Volume has gone up by 7%. EBITDA has grown up by 7% also, but PAT has degrown by 9% in FY25 as they spend a lot of resources onto developing the pharma value chain. So the EPS was not growing, but company is at the cusp when things should look better in number wise. So the revenue, what they did in last FY25 was 781 crores versus 696 crore in FY24. This was dragged by the slow growth in paint industries. PAT was reduced due to higher depreciation and interest cost absorption from the pharma segment, leading to operating deleverage, which I think will reverse itself. So the price to earning multiple जो आपको दिख रहा है, that is kind of overblown because the earning is suppressed because higher depreciation and interest cost and operating deleverage, which has played out for the company because they were developing pharma segment. Let's come to the thesis pointer, and the number one thesis pointer for me is that there has been a recovery in paint segment with positive indication from Asian Paints, rapid growth, and Birla Opus also adding up to the business. So the company is confident of double-digit growth in the paint segment. FMCG story is continuing with a fast growth, and that should allow a company to continue momentum in the FMCG segment. Operating leverage in pharma segment should play out with 100 crore revenue run rate अगर आ जाती है तो फिर the current capacity of 1500 ton would go to 2000 to 3000 ton. So that expansion would kind of lead for margin expansion because this business is 40% margin EBITDA margin business. They have land banks to take this facility to 4x to 5x in the long term from the current range. So someday this is going to be a good portion of their business in top line also. But there are certain risks which we need to watch, is that their slowdown in paint industry can lead to slower offtake of their products, as paints are still the largest revenue contribution for the company, and paints are a proxy on real estate, and real estate is a proxy on economy. And if there are no better jobs, AI risk is hovering over IT jobs. So real estate is not in a great shape. So the paint industry is doing well because of the competition coming in, and Birla Group has got active into it. But structurally, this is not a great business right now, growth wise. So that one has to be careful of. There is a competition in IML in India, and in a troubled market, its customer can squeeze them on margin. So far, that has not happened because there was rise in competition. But after the consolidation, which I think after 1-2 year consolidation will happen, and then the margin squeeze might happen. So that's the risk for the long-term thesis. The scaling up in non-food segment in FMCG would need to be closely tracked, because whatever is happening is going to be very important for this company, because that's where the growth is. Product in pharma industry have stringent regulations. Thus, customer are slow in giving commercial orders. So any quality issue would be a detrimental to the company, because pharma में quality का issue अगर आता है तो फिर industries would go away from them. So that audit risk remains always. Again, just to summarize, this is not a stock recommendation. This video is only for educational purpose, and Sadhan Ventures LLP is not a SEBI registered investment advisor. So don't act on the information provided. This is just for learning purpose, and consult a SEBI registered financial advisor before acting on it. We might be holding a stake in the company, so our views can be biased. So that's all. One update is that for our channel members, we are decoding an EMS business in next 2-3 days. So if you want to have a deep look into the electronics manufacturing segment, which is a growing field because the ban on Chinese supply on electronics good is here to stay. So that's why this makes the EMS industry a very interesting piece to study, and we'll be studying this with our members. So if you want a closer interaction with me, don't forget to hit the join button. That's where we will be discussing this business. So thanks for being a patient audience. See you in the next video.